Here in Los Angeles, it's out of control with the poverty and the homelessness. So please check that out. Okay, the Zeitgeist Movement blog, the Zeitgeist Movement newsletter blog. We're finalizing the domain on this and getting the technicals finished, but basically we have this blog that's been mentioned a few times that will be for the public to submit not only general blog materials but also newsletter articles and press release articles that we tend to mail out to the global list. This is really effective and important. I hope everyone understands this. So if anyone out there has skills to write, please think about participating with this. I've written a lot. There's been a lot of other people that have written some, and every day there seems to be something new that the Zeitgeist movement can relate to with respect to, say, the debt ceiling that we just dealt with, the pending debt collapse, the general mathematical inevitability of what's happening, the social destabilization that's occurring. The true causality of all the things that the media has been talking about, of course, isn't being addressed. We could even do cultural things. I mean, the Zeitgeist movement isn't just solely about the resource-based economic model. It's in some kind of finite element where it's physical. It's about what comprises the values and the reasoning and the worldview that could make something like this society work. And that's something important to remember. So please, if you are a good writer, if you do feel confident that you understand this material in the direction, please submit to this blog when we finally have it up, because it's going to be very important. In fact, I'm going to take this time now to jump straight into participation with the Zeitgeist movement. I think there's a lot of confusion out there as far as what people are expected to do or how they define themselves. You know, the first thing I like to say is there really is no such thing as a Zeitgeist movement member in and of itself. We use this distinction in many ways just because we need some form of distinction. But a Zeitgeist movement member, I mean, there's nothing to sign up for. There's no dues to pay. To consider yourself a member of the Zeitgeist movement means you understand the material and you have an interest to communicate it to your fellow man. That's it. You don't necessarily have to be a part of anything if you understand the material. But when it comes to social activism and the interest to create critical mass, it does become important. So let's assume that you're new to the Zeitgeist movement and you are learning about the information, you're reading the PDFs and you're going through the lectures, and you feel you eventually get a decent understanding of the problems that we have today and the basic foundation of a solution, of a resource-based economic model, what it means to calculate society, what it means to be responsible and scientific with resources, which also extends to our behavior and drawing our values from the management of those resources, from the observation of natural processes. If we believe something that isn't supported by the physical environment, it's to our own detriment. And this is as obvious as it is. It's something that is unfortunately still in the shadows, if you will, due to the heavy political, religious, and economic indoctrinations out there that are based on ideas that really are almost explicitly opposite to what is needed from a scientific view for human survival, especially at this point in time. So let's assume that you've gained this information. And by the way, if anyone is new listening, please go to the main site and go through everything on the left-hand side so you can begin to understand. It really isn't complex. The specifics are complex, but once you get the foundation under your belt, you start to kind of feel it out and you'll start to gravitate towards data and new information that will expand on that information, expand on those basic premises. Excuse me. Now, engagement in the movement, first of all, means that you'd be in a chapter, and you'd either join a chapter in your region or you'd start a chapter. It's very easy to do. You can go to the chapters site to check the chapters that we have, the chapters page on the main site, thezeitgeistmovement.com, to check the chapters that are available. You can email Gilbert and he can tell you about what's happening in any particular region. We do have to update that. There are many more chapters than what we have listed on the site. The dominant countries are listed on the gateway page. If you want to find a chapter, you go to the gateway page. If you happen to be in one of those countries, go through the country, click the country, and then find and email the main site, and they will help you. This is the role of coordination. So you're in a chapter now, or you're starting a chapter. Then what do you do? Well, the first thing I think any member should do is they need to have some type of vehicle for themselves to communicate these ideas in their own research, because that's really what we all are. We're all researchers. We're a team of people that are trying to learn and then figure out ways to not only present that information to others, but to also begin to put pressure on the system through this educational process and hope to get other people motivated for change. So everyone out there that's in the movement or considers to be in the movement should have say a YouTube account where they post ideas that they find. This isn't a big deal, is it? Everyone should have a YouTube account. Honestly, I think everyone should have a WordPress blog or any type of blog to simply document what's going on, to keep a positive notion in the search engines. We have always a great number of critics out there, and a lot of people complain about this. They don't like their egos being battered, and they don't like to feel like they're in the line of fire. Well, it's up to you to counter that if you feel that way. It's up to you to do what you can to make sure the truth about what the movement's doing is coming out, because I can tell you right now, as I've denoted before, that the storm hasn't even started against the Zeitgeist movement as we continue to grow, which we are, and I'm thoroughly impressed by our growth rate still, even though the debacle with the Venus Project did occur a number of months back. So engagement in chapters, engagement in a personal internet setting. If you are working with coordination in your chapter, you should probably put out, if your chapter is big enough and it's worthwhile, put out your own newsletter. What we do on global could easily be mirrored on regional chapters, in regional chapters. So having a newsletter, even having a radio show for your chapter. Let's say if you are in a chapter that's a couple thousand people, I'd say that's prime for doing your own radio show if you're active. These are very common things that I think we've stated before, but I think are very important to consider. So if I was to make a list for anyone listening that's trying to figure out what to do, first of all, you have to be educated. Second of all, you need to join a chapter or start one. Become a coordinator or become a member of the chapter. These chapters not only have to have their own meetings of some accord to figure out how to engage the public, the town halls become critically important. The once a month town halls. These are very effective in the work that we're doing in Los Angeles. We've had a tremendously good response with these, and I really enjoy doing them. And I think all of you out there will find the same. Now, once you have the town halls, make sure you document everything. And this goes back to the need to keep the internet flow going and keep data going out there, keep it fresh. So every time you do a town hall, please tape it and put it on YouTube. Very important. Coupled with this, of course, is Zeitgeist Day and the Zeitgeist Media Festival. Two different ideas. Zeitgeist Day is more important, Zeitgeist Day is more direct. Once a year, Zeitgeist Day